Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we're going to take a look at Chapter 14 of Doron Dororon, the chapter where Doron Dororon really carves out its niche. And it was this chapter actually had a fairly serious surprise, both in and out, well, not so much in universe, but definitely for us readers, us fans, this chapter did have a big surprise. Now, as usual, there will be a spoiler-free section and the spoiler section, and so you have been warned. All right, this chapter answers the question, which is, how serious is this manga going to get? Because this is obviously aimed at a slightly younger audience, and those kind of Shonen Jump shows are very hesitant to kill people on screen. They're very famous for letting hundreds, if not thousands, of people die off screen, as it were, outside of the proscenium where the audience can't see it. And of course, there's tragic backstory deaths, but you generally don't see your average younger age Shonen Jump manga letting innocent characters die on screen. The hero always steps in to save them at the last minute. Something happens. This chapter has clearly set itself down on one side of that line and lets us know where it's going to be going from here. And I was actually quite surprised by what it did. Otherwise, we have a standard beginning of the training arc chapter. So this chapter is clearly divided into two halves. One half is with our main heroes and the training they're doing on the base. The other half is with the main villains and the preparations that they're making. And so it's just overall a fairly solid chapter, and I think this chapter might have been a bid to bump it up in the ratings because it looks like it's not doing too good in the ratings, and I really hope that this manga has the legs to go on because I'm certainly enjoying it. So that was the spoiler-free section. Now it's time to get into the fully spoilery section. To give you time to click away, I'm going to mention that you can check out the links below the video to check out my books, Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, and Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote. Short story collections of human absurdity. You can also check out my channels on Rumble, which is a YouTube competitor, another website like YouTube, BitChute, again, another website like YouTube, and Odysee. All of these have all of my videos up on them, and you can go there and see them. Now, let's get into some spoilers. This chapter has two major revelations. The first one is in-universe, and the second one is out-of-universe. Both of them establish a darker, more serious tone than I was expecting from the chapters leading up to this one. So, deaths, on-screen deaths. Of course, every Shonen Jump has some tragic backstory. Oftentimes they'll have dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of people die off-screen, but generally the Shonen Jumps aimed at younger ages don't have significant on-screen deaths, at least not of young and innocent characters. With what happens near the end of this chapter, with all of those innocent lives being stomped out, and it's not even just all the innocent lives were stomped out, but the hero who is trying to escape the situation was violently killed as well, trying to survive. And that sets a darker tone. Then we have that was just a choice that any manga is going to have to make, though. We're going to expect it to fall on one side of that, do people die on screen line, or the other. Then we have the big plot twist. These Mononoke are talking to each other, discussing what they're doing and why they're doing it, and they refer to hunting down and killing the samurai officers as justice. Now, it's just really a word and one phrase tossed in at the end of the chapter, but it's very telling. Whatever these Mononoke are doing, even though they're eating humans and they feed on them, they consider killing the samurai officers to be justice. Now, why? There's a couple different ways the manga could go with this. One is perhaps from these Mononoke's perspective, stopping them from eating is an act of injustice on the officers' parts. They have to eat to live, but clearly Kusanagi can survive without eating human flesh, so they don't absolutely have to eat humans. Perhaps they have to eat humans to attain that high level of power that they have. Hard to say. But anyway, there is that option that they consider the prevention of their depredations to be an act of injustice, and that by killing the samurai officers, they are acting out their own form of justice. This is supported by the anger we have seen in the Mononoke as they deliberately address people who have been stopping them from eating. That Mononoke in the bay spoke to the two samurai cadets and said, "You're the ones who've been stopping people from coming here." And then the other Mononoke said to Kusanagi, "You're the one who's been scaring away my food." Generally speaking, characters don't say something like that unless they consider it an injustice. They consider it something that's being done wrong against them. And so there's a good possibility that what these Mononoke simply mean is that by preventing them from eating more humans, the officers are committing an injustice. There is another, let's say, darker option, that the samurai or the Izanagi Corps are actually guilty of some injustice. Now, we know that these Mononoke only started coming into the world recently, only started crossing over and attacking humans not too long ago. Is it possible that there was some breach between the worlds that allowed this was the fault of the Izanagi Corporation, and it had as negative an effect on the Mononoke world as the Mononoke are having on the human world? Perhaps it destroyed the Mononoke's food source, and they see eating humans as simply just payment for what was done to them. Hard to say. Beyond that, that was the last half of the chapter where it dealt with what the Mononoke were doing. Beyond that, we get to see some good character building between our two new characters. We get a third new character introduced, kind of a cipher, and he's either going to be an ally or a crazy person, so that's going to be interesting to find out. Dora and Kusanagi are showing off their skills. There's some classic shonen tropes in this chapter. It's all very standard except for those two twists. And again, I hope this chapter bumps it up the rankings. I really, really hope they don't cut this manga before it's had a chance to go the distance. So what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Have the Mononoke been passed on by the humans, or do the Mononoke simply believe that stopping them from eating humans is an injustice? Hit that like and subscribe button. Go check out my books, and check out my channels on Rumble, Odysee, and BitChute. We don't want to keep all of our eggs in one basket. And peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, and Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.